Great, thank you. So thanks for taking the time today.
My pleasure.
So if we could just start off, what initially drew you to this project?
So our company only does lower budget, high concept movies. That's all that we do. And very rarely does one check every box, but this one did. It's a huge concept. What if crime were legal? 12 hours a year, once a year, but told through the point of view of one family's experience through this night, so that it's relatively contained, so that it can be done without a huge number of effects and a huge number of locations. So as soon as James pitched it, I was like, I love it. We're in. And he worked on the script, and the process, once we got the script, was actually pretty quick from the time we made the script, to the time we made the movie.
So it is a thriller, has some social commentary,
Horror
obviously.
movie
Yeah.
with thriller elements.
Okay, great. But was the intent to always sort of have this political statement attached as well?
That was not my intent, and that was not. I think James's intent was to have a great horror movie concept. And in addition, there was a social commentary that came along with it. And when I first read it, it was very clear that was there, and I was really psyched about that. But it's not like we went and said, let's make a movie with a social commentary. Like it was a happy accident that happened. But completely intentional. Like it didn't surprise us once the movie was made.
So if you could set up The Purge for me and what it is.
So The Purge is a movie that takes place in America, and it's about 7 years into a law that makes all crime legal from 7 at night till 7 in the morning once a year. And so this has happened about seven years in a row. So people are accustomed to it when the movie opens, and it's about mom and dad, Ethan and Lena, and 2 kids, and it starts a little bit before 7 o'clock on the 7th year of the Purge, or thereabouts. It doesn't exactly say in the movie. And dad sells alarm systems because most people during the Purge close themselves into their houses and wall themselves off so that they don't go out into the mayhem that's in the streets. And this night starts the same way the 6 others before have, with the iron doors go up and the family's locked into the house. And about 20 minutes into the movie, a guy is being terrorized, and a little boy lets him into the house. And it's about what transpires between the guy, the people chasing that guy, and this family stuck in this house for 11 hours.
So now talk to me then about getting Ethan involved in the project, and then his character's arc, what we see him go throughout this night.
Ethan and I have been great friends for over 20 years. We produced theater in New York together. We had a company called Malaparte. We did a movie version of Hamlet together in 2000, and then ever since I've been doing these scary movies, I've been trying to talk him into doing one. And finally, he agreed to do Sinister, which was a great triumph for me. And we had a really fun time, a great collaborative partnership on the movie. And in fact, he liked it so much at the end of the movie, he said, let's do another one. So I gave him the script of The Purge. He actually knew James separate from me. We both knew James independent of one another. And he said yes, and 6 months later, we shot The Purge in L.A. And that's how it came to be in the movie. And his arc in the movie starts out as a real believer in the Purge. Obviously, his entire business is based on the Purge, and so he's made a small fortune off the law, and he's a big believer in it. And through the course of the movie, I would say it's safe to say he becomes less of a believer in the Purge.
Right. So then talk to me too about the family, though. We obviously see Lena go through, she sort of becomes like the hero of the film.
Yeah.
Talk to me about her character and where we see her.
So Lena, like her husband, has done very well by this event. Although she's questioned it a little bit more. The people who question it the most in the beginning of the movie are the kids. The kids are the kind of the ones with the most moral center in the beginning of the movie. Maybe then Lena and then Ethan, but she's kind of ridden along with her husband and with her husband's belief in this, and it's supported their family for a long time. But she sees more problems with the Purge than her husband does, and those problems become apparent very quickly in this particular night that we choose to tell this story. And in fact, she does become the hero of the movie, and she saves her family from dying, really. And she too, by the end of the movie, though, not a big believer in having a Purge again.
Right. And now I know you guys really like to work with accelerated schedules. You shot it fairly quickly. Do you think that helps though with the pacing of the film too, shooting on such a short schedule?
Yes, well, we start off with the fact that we don't start shooting unless our scripts are very short, so that helps to keep the movies. I rarely feel leaving a movie I wish it were longer. I often feel I wish it were shorter. So limited resources force us to focus on what shooting stuff that's going to wind up in the movie. Not everything we shoot winds up in the movie, but our percentage of what winds up in the movie versus not on these movies is way higher than a normal movie. And I think to a certain degree, the fact that we're covering a lot of ground every day gives a certain momentum to the movie. And if we have the right DP, and we had a terrific DP on this movie, a guy named Jacques, a French DP who was great and fast. And if we have the DP on board with our plan, again, we don't always, but a lot of the times we do. I think it does. I think it helps performance. The actors don't go to their trailers and come back. There aren't these huge 2-hour breaks for lighting setups. Like we ideally we do one lighting setup and shoot the scene again and again and again from all different angles without breaking. I think it makes performance better. I think it does. I think it does help actually.
So then obviously clearly then the one location, that house, I mean, where everything really takes place.
Yeah.
You know, how important was it and how hard was it to find that location?
It was really hard. There was another house that everyone wanted us to shoot in. Not the director, James didn't want it, but our line producer did because it was less expensive. And we saw this house, and we reached for it, and it was a long negotiation to get the house, but I was really glad we did because the house really is a character in the movie, and I think the house fits the movie really well. And I was really pleased with it, but it was probably the biggest struggle we had on the movie was landing on the right location.
And now James wrote it and directed. Was that always the intent to have him do both, or did it kind of just sort of happen? And
he wrote and directed the movie. We almost never work with second-time directors. We never worked the first time. We almost never work with second-time directors. Most of the directors we work with have had a lot more experience, like Scott Derrickson or James Wan. And one of the reasons we had another producing partner on, we had Platinum Dunes on the movie, was because James hadn't had a lot of experience directing, and especially had never directed a horror movie. And those guys have made a lot of great ones. And so they were very involved creatively in the movie, and that was kind of part of the creative unit was James and Brad and Drew.
awesome. Very good.
Great.
Thanks.